All right, so let's continue. Now, we looked at this session memory problem we have with PHP and so forth. We looked at HTML. We looked at, you know, even how JavaScript work and style sheets. And yes, up till today, it all is still in use. And it forms the back end of basically what we're doing these days, uh, using the more relevant things that I'm going to talk to you about right now. The first thing that we need to get rid of, right, is this constant sessions that gets created in memory. All right, and I want to start off. We did look at this, the whole path. Now, just something, we're going to work with backend servers most definitely, and specifically Python in tier 3. But for what we need now, like dashboards and web applications and mobile applications, that is not needed. So we're getting to applications that do need a solid service that runs in the back, like Python. PHP not used really anymore. So to continue with the story, basically, uh, JavaScript, when you install or update or download a browser, what comes with a web browser is JavaScript. So JavaScript has always been inside your web browser. There's no service or server that runs it. It runs within the web browser. So you can say that it is client-based in the sense that your computer's memory are used to render all these pages, which is nice because imagine you have 1,000 people whose pages you have to somehow try to render from your server, your web server. So some guy had an idea, I wish I can remember his name, and said, why not take JavaScript out of the web browser onto a server? All right, and that changed everything. They say then came Node.js, the browser revolution. And that's exactly what happened. So you can now use JavaScript to connect to your database. You can use JavaScript for all kinds of things, and it is on your server or in a web developer environment, in your web development environment. Now, as part of this whole system, we have something called Vite, React, and then we're going to talk about serverless applications. So although Node.js is there and it's JavaScript, it's not running all the time, like in the case with Apache. So when your browser requests something like maybe sensor data or a shopping cart item, JavaScript, or let's say Node.js, starts up in milliseconds, do whatever you want or whatever it needs to do, and then shuts down again. There's no memory taken up, nothing like that. That's why with a modern system, you can have thousands upon thousands of users, uh, because there's no session data stored in a server's memory. So we're going to start off with Vite, and Vite is really a development platform. Now let me explain something else first. I just want to see if that's not on the next page. Oh, it's still coming, so I don't want to skip ahead too far. So when you develop pages, and I want to go to my cursor quickly, just to show you what I'm talking about. And there we go. What really happens in the background when you create web pages these days in this fashion using the modern type of technologies is that you don't really create a web page. All right, there's no HTML or PHP page in reality. There's just one huge page and a program that forms part of this whole Node.js that we're going to install and go through, renders these pages automatically. So what you in the end of the day have, yes, for instance, if you look at this page, it looks like a normal page, and if I click home, sorry, we were at home, if I click on menu, something else pop up, and something else pop up on another menu, and you can even see here it says about .html, but in reality this is being generated on the fly inside your web browser using React. So what happens because we use Vite that we're talking about in a minute, your whole website is sent to your browser all at once, but without the images and the videos and so forth. The links are sent, but not the images. So if you look at a big website and you just take the text, even a huge big website, it might be 1 meg, 2 meg, 3 meg in size. So what React will do, also something we will look at, is it will have all these little buttons and menu items and links to images and so forth. And when you click on About Us, it takes all these little buttons and stuff it's got, and it on the fly shows you the web page. That's why if you look at this, if I click on Hours, it's there immediately. If I click on Contact, the page is there immediately. Home, the page is there immediately. On your web browser, all the action now happens. You don't have to go from a web browser to a server, fetch an HTML page, bring it back to the browser, view it, click on a button, next page, and so forth. So you has really made the bandwidth to a big extent non-existent when the whole website has been loaded, as you can see. The only time your server will be hit with a request is when it is something to do with databases or products in a shopping cart or products on a shopping site that needs to be pulled in. So you might see 10 products, you click show me the next page, the next 10 pages come up. Now it's getting a little slower because that pages need to be fetched from the database. The images need to be fetched and so forth. But you really have no memory sessions, things to remember, and you'll understand everything in a minute. So that's what's exciting. That's why you can have thousands upon thousands of users logged into your application without even worrying. And your customers think it's like magic because everything just pops up the minute they hit a button, right? So let's look at Vite. So Vite is a programming environment that helps you to make your coding experience much faster. For instance, I can go and, just to do something simple, I'll say take this About Us. All right, so what I've done is I've clicked on this button here, or you can click on this one. If you click on this one, you can simply select things. On the right hand button, you can go and look at that specific, and this is the About Us heading, and you can change headings and so forth. I'm just going to say, please change this heading to a acid green neon color. And let's see what happens. It did its thinking, and there it's doing it, making the changes. It even shows you that's the green it's going to use, and it's finished. So you basically can just refresh and it's there. Now with other, or with, if you're not using Vite, you probably would have said rebuild this page and sit and wait for the page to be rebuilt. So Vite make things much easier when you program. So let's continue then with our rest of our presentation. The next thing we're going to look at is single page applications. I've run out of time, but from here on out it will go fast. I hope you understand Vite and also what we are going to do in the rest of this specific series around what we're going to use. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Keep well.